Hey, everybody. It's Brian Hill, president and co-founder of Imperium Data. Very excited here today to welcome Allwyn Sequeira from Highway 9 Networks. Today, we wanted to do a Fireside Chat series where we're going to dig in to the mobile cloud and the advantage of it within the enterprise as well as the higher education space. Allwyn, thanks for joining.
Brian, great to meet you again. Let's get started. Yeah.
Awesome. One of the things that I have noticed, as we developed our relationship over the last couple months, and I've seen you guys go into the marketplace, is that you and your team work so diligently in stealth mode for the past several years before coming to market with your product. This is very different than other companies we've seen in the space. How do you believe this helped you guys refine the tech and ultimately your go-to-market strategy to hit the ground running so quickly?
Yeah, Brian, first of all, the founders, myself and my management team, we all came from VMware, and we're part of the executive staff. I used to report to the CEO, Pat Gelsinger, and we created three very big markets there, software-defined networks and network virtualization, hybrid clouds, and the telco cloud. And in each of those creation of those markets, what we found is the best way to get going is go really deep with your first 3 to 4 customers and really understand what it takes to work, what the use cases are, what the technology is. And so when we're coming off the VMware experience where we created those three markets, which all led to becoming billion-dollar businesses, what we did is take the same path. When we were at VMware, we began to realize that a lot of folks were very happy with the fact that we allowed them to make where their servers resided irrelevant by moving to the private and public clouds. Then some of our early customers came to us and said, can you do the same thing for what's left on campus? And what's left on campus are the users and the devices. And increasingly, these are connected with a mobile iPad or an iPhone or things like that. Can we do that same thing where the people are is irrelevant? And these were in the times of COVID. So let's figure out how to make that happen. And so we decided we'll take the same approach till we get the formula right, till we get the first 4 or 5 customers up and going and completely working. Let's not even bother to market it, because I'm a strong believer. First, produce the product, get the first few customers, make it work, get product market fit, and then expand and go to market.
That is an incredibly high touch, high trust way to go to market. It seems, and I've seen your interview with Mark Silas at MIT, and it seems to be a very, very powerful belief in what you and your team are doing. And you're truly working with innovators within the space. I know, working with innovators, people who are okay with being early adopters is one thing, but so many IT teams are focused on just keeping the lights on, how to not be a cost center to the business, how to be able to just keep the business running. How can your team in Highway 9 allow the mobile cloud to solve unique problems that help drive the business forward and ultimately help those guys who are just trying to keep the lights on create true value for their organization and become a critical part of the business?
No, this is exactly right. I talked about these early tip of the spear customers. Mark Silas at MIT, CIO, was one of those. And he knew, because we'd gone through two other product transitions with him, he knew that this team was capable with its software-defined building products at scale, where we literally were able to move his workloads across Google Clouds, Amazon Clouds, VMware Clouds, and doing at scale to this day. So he knew 3 things about us. We would build an architecture that scales, number 1. Number 2, it would be very specific to the use cases that mattered. And number 3, it would really drive his business and the value versus just keeping the lights on. And it turned out that all 3 were true. So we came to the multi-cloud, talk about the mobile cloud. Why mobile cloud? Why not private 5G? Why not, some wireless plus and no noise? Because of 3 fundamental principles. So ironically, by the way, Mark Silas was one of the early guys for Wi-Fi. While everyone were talking about Wi-Fi hotspots in the early 2000s, he was
Yeah.
talking about, I'm going to blanket my campus with Wi-Fi. And then in the last few years, he was one of the early customers to hop onto the Mist Wi-Fi. And he, in fact, became one of the big Mist users across his whole campus. And then when working with us, he said, look, this Wi-Fi is reaching its limitations. I'm almost have to put a Wi-Fi under every chair in my organization. I know with private cellular, it has high fidelity. It's got the right technology start. And with, I know your team, Allwyn, I know you will build products that scale. It's a distributed architecture. So what's cellular architecture is very complicated, very complex. It's been the onus and ownership of the Verizons and T-Mos and AT&T. I know what you guys are going to do now that it's been democratized and with FCC rules making CBRS band available and band 48 available on every iPhone, and with eSIM and multi-eSIM capability become pervasive. This gives a final opportunity for us to reinvent the market and really make private cellular work. So that's step number one. We got that up and running. We, in fact, helped go through multiple buildings on campus because cellular is a very hard beast. You need to distribute, precision timing protocols across campus on top of your Cisco and Juniper routers and gears. You need to stand up multiple buildings. So we got to a point where we were working with 5 different buildings, distributing the signal. And then apart from getting the private cellular up and going at scale, we then built one of the first interactions with T-Mo where we took 8 stories, 50 radios, and built that whole thing to last. So now at the point, and we didn't talk about it much at all because till you get to this point, there is no point in marketing something that doesn't work. We now know it works. The timing is right. It complements the Wi-Fi offering. So Juniper Mist plus Highway 9 seems to be a very common theme where people are, where Wi-Fi has been following. And you're one of the, from what we heard, Imperium has been one of the early adopters, early resellers alongside the Mist journey. So what's ironic to me here is Imperium plus Mist, now Imperium with Highway 9. These are words that go together well. And we do this and we replace the DAS systems, which no longer are subsidized. They're too expensive and they're not integrated with IT networks. So we are at an incredible transition point. You've got the right insight and the reseller capability and the intimacy with the customer. We've got the right technology. We're doing it in a fashion that complements Wi-Fi, and we are taking and replacing DAS, which no longer is the right architecture. So the timing is perfectly right.
Owen, thank you for that. You took my sales pitch out of my own lips. For us, we're seeing a tremendous amount of momentum within the space, especially within our higher ed customer base, especially within those early adopters who got excited about Mist early on, that are looking for cutting edge products that can be able to not only improve the faculty experience, but ultimately infuse, the student experience, which is what we're all working towards within that environment to help, drive education forward across America. We're very excited about this partnership. We're very excited to be able to, be that tip of the spear within the partner community. Imperium Data feels that we can be able to add the most value. Any VAR can be able to take POs and push boxes. Our goal is to be able to partner with differentiated innovators like Highway 9 that allow us to be able to provide a differentiated customer experience for our customer. And frankly, we're really excited to be involved with you and your team to drive that forward.
And likewise, from our perspective, we are excited because having someone like you who's been with the Wi-Fi industry, leading some important penetration into spaces like higher ed, which are very demanding. You've gone through that radio before. One of the top questions all your customers will have, when do I use Wi-Fi? When do I use private cellular? Are these at odds with each other? So we've come to some very simple things that seem to work. Outdoors, you want to go with private cellular. It's got a lot more range. Indoors, you want to replace DAS because of the Morgan gateway and all that stuff. You're replacing and extending the T-Mo signal and things like that. So these are 2 very manifest use cases. And the third big use case, we are going for things that are AI ready, edge ready, because the other thing in the private cellular world that's not quite succeeded is mobile edge. And there, the combination of the mobile edge with our carrier extension, with the outdoors coverage. These three things we think are the basis for really jump-starting the mobile cloud. And again, I call it mobile cloud versus private 5G because the cloud conveys going beyond the transport and into integrating into the applications and creating value versus keeping the lights on, right? So that's why it's critical.
You stole my last question, and that's a beautiful way to tie it together. The mobile cloud is truly creating value across IT organizations and being able to push IT organizations forward. Allwyn, thank you very much for the time here today. We're very excited to be able to continue to grow the partnership forward and looking forward to future success together. Thank you for joining.
No, this is so awesome, Brian. So thank you again. Higher ed, manufacturing, logistics, these are all areas that are ripe for taking. I couldn't be happier than to work with someone like you who's leading the charge in these verticals, understands the use cases, and understands how to bring technologies together in a great fashion. So again, looking forward to a great stint together.